So hello class 12th. In my previous lectures I had completed discussion on solid state. So by the time I had completed two chapters, haloalkane, haloarine and solid state. And from today onwards I am going to start with another very interesting topic which is called as biomolecules. As you know, bio means life and molecules, you all know. So term biomolecule is used to represent those compounds, those chemicals which are essential for the formation of life forms and for the sustenance of life forms. They are essential. Different type of life forms on this planet, whether they are plants or they are animals, they are made up of these compounds, and presence of these chemicals is essential for sustenance of life forms. For proper functioning of life processes, these molecules, these chemicals, they are required. What are life processes? Respiration, nutrition, excretion, reproduction. These are the processes that are called as life processes. And anything, if it possesses these properties, if possesses these processes, then we call it living. And biomolecules are the chemicals, biomolecules are the chemical substances that are essential for the formation, for the build-up of life forms and for the sustenance of life forms. So this is what we know, that is what is the biomolecules. Then what are the most common examples of biomolecules? They includes carbohydrates, proteins, nucleic acids, vitamins, hormones, enzymes, and so on. And three most important, actually we have got a different branch of chemistry for the study of these compounds, which is called as biochemistry. But as far as our class 12th course is concerned, we need to have a basic idea, we need to have a brief idea about these compounds in this chapter. So the most important ones are carbohydrates, proteins, nucleic acids, hormones, enzymes, vitamins, etc. Say for example proteins, they are responsible for the build-up of body. These muscles are a type of protein, these hairs, nails, hoof, horn, all these are different type of proteins. Carbohydrates, they provides energy to the system. Nucleic acids are responsible for the inheritance of characters from parents to offsprings. Hormones regulate the various body functions at various levels. Enzymes, they are the biological catalysts, chemical reactions that are taking place inside a living system. Chemical reactions that are taking place inside the biological system are called biochemical reactions. And these biochemical reactions are catalyzed by the presence of certain organic compounds which are called as enzymes. Then vitamins, they are vital amines, they are also required in trace amounts, but their deficiency causes various diseases. So biomolecules are those chemical compounds which are required for the buildup of life forms and for the sustenance of life form, for the proper functioning of life processes. And important examples of these biomolecules are carbohydrates, proteins, nucleic acids, hormones, enzymes and vitamins. And as I told you that there is a separate branch for the study of these molecules. Herein we need to have a very superficial treatment of them. Introduction, what is the meaning of this term, definition, etc. So first and foremost, biomolecule and most important one is carbohydrate. In a living system, energy is obtained from these carbohydrates, and in plant kingdom they are responsible for buildup of life forms. Then if we talk of sustenance of life forms, carbohydrates are responsible to fulfill all the three basic needs of human beings: food, clothing and shelter. In food, say for example potato, sweet potato, rice, all of them contains carbohydrates which on ultimately decompose to give glucose and which on oxidation offers energy. So food, shelter, clothings, cotton, cellulose, etc. they provides clothings and shelter also. Now this term carbohydrates is actually, carbohydrates are treated as hydrates of carbon, that is compounds for which their molecular formula can be represented in the form of CN, CX, H2O, Y. Say for example C6H12O6 glucose, it could be written C6H2O whole 6. So all those compounds whose formula can be written in the form of hydrate of carbon, whose molecular formula can be expressed in the terms of CXH2OY, are called as carbohydrates. So term carbohydrate means hydrates of carbon. Now with the passage of time, an anomaly arises from both the sides. There was certain compounds which can be called carbohydrates on the basis of their properties, but their molecular formula doesn't suit. doesn't suits to this combination, and there are certain compounds whose molecular formula can be written in this form CxH2OY, but their properties does not matches to that of carbohydrates. So the definition for the term carbohydrates or these compounds is being modified, and they are said as polyhydroxy aldehydes or ketones, or substances which gives them on hydrolysis. So as per modern definition, carbohydrates are optically active polyhydroxyaldehydes or ketones, or substances which gives a polyhydroxyaldehyde or ketone when it is subjected to hydrolysis. And this is a universal definition for all the compounds. So in the modern time, although the term carbohydrate, that is hydrates of carbon, has lost its original significance, yet it is frequently used. But in older definition, carbohydrates are those substances whose molecular formula can be expressed in terms of CX and H2OY, that is in terms of hydrates of carbon. But there was certain carbohydrates whose formula doesn't comply to this definition, and there was certain compounds who are not carbohydrates, but their molecular formula can be written in this form. So the definition was modified, definition was changed, and it is said that carbohydrates are polyhydroxyaldehydes or ketones, or substances which gives them means which gives polyhydroxyaldehydes or ketones when they are subjected to hydrolysis. Now let us take few examples. Say for example, CHO, glucose, simplest carbohydrate which we know. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 OH groups. So polyhydroxy, and this is CHO group. So it is a polyhydroxyaldehyde. Similarly, fructose or grape sugar. We all have taken grapes and it tastes sweet because of presence of this compound which is called fructose. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 hydroxy groups and a ketonic group. So it is a polyhydroxy ketone. So carbohydrates are those are polyhydroxyaldehydes or ketones or substances which gives them, means which gives a polyhydroxyaldehyde or ketone when they are subjected to hydrolysis. For example, when cane sugar, sucrose, ordinary sugar that we use in our kitchen, when this is subjected to hydrolysis, this is reacted with water in the presence of acid or invertase enzyme. It gives glucose and fructose. So glucose and fructose are polyhydroxyaldehyde or ketone, so they are carbohydrates, and this sucrose on hydrolysis gives glucose and fructose. Hence sucrose is also a carbohydrate. So carbohydrates are those substances which are either an optically active polyhydroxyaldehyde or ketone, or any substance which gives a polyhydroxyaldehyde or ketone when it is hydrolyzed. Then we come to the classification. Now classification of carbohydrates can be done in two ways. One, it can be classified on the basis of crystal structure, properties, and secondly, it can also be classified on the basis of hydrolysis products. So we will take one by one. Carbohydrates, when they are classified on the basis of their crystal structure and properties, they are classified into two categories: sugars and non-sugars. And what is the difference? Sugars are crystalline and non-sugars are amorphous. So I presume that all of you know the meaning of term crystalline and amorphous, as my previous chapter was this, solid state. When constituent particles of a substance is arranged in a definite geometrical pattern in the three-dimensional space, substance is called crystalline, and when constituent particles doesn't have a definite arrangement, they are randomly arranged, then substance is called amorphous. Then sugars are sweet in taste, while non-sugars are tasteless. Sugars are water soluble and non-sugars are water insoluble. So on the basis of on the basis of their crystal structure, their properties, carbohydrates are broadly classified into two categories: sugars and non-sugars. Sugars have got a crystalline structure, sugars are sweet in taste, and sugars are water soluble. Example, that table, a cane sugar or sugar that we use in our kitchen for making tea, for adding in our milk, etc. Non-sugars on the other hand has got amorphous structure, means their constituent particles are not properly arranged in three-dimensional space. Second, they are tasteless. Third, they are water insoluble. Example is cellulose. Example is cellulose. Then further, these sugars are further classified into two categories: reducing sugars and non-reducing sugars. And for non-sugars there is no particular classification. Then on the basis of hydrolysis product, carbohydrates are classified into three categories. There is another name for carbohydrates, saccharides. And on the basis of hydrolysis product, carbohydrates classified into three categories: monosaccharides, oligosaccharides and polysaccharides. Now, in the definition I told you that carbohydrates are either polyhydroxyaldehydes or ketones, or substances which gives a polyhydroxyaldehyde or ketone on hydrolysis. These monosaccharides are the simplest simplest carbohydrates, and they cannot be hydrolyzed further. Cannot be hydrolyzed further. Example: glucose, fructose. Now that term oligo means few. On hydrolysis they gives 2 to 10 monosaccharide units. For example, sucrose, which gives 2 monosaccharide units on hydrolysis. Then a trisaccharide gives 3 monosaccharide units, a tetrasaccharide which on hydrolysis gives 4 monosaccharide units. So oligosaccharides are those which gives 2 to 10 monosaccharides when they are hydrolyzed. And then poly means many. So polysaccharides are those carbohydrates which gives few hundred to thousands of monosaccharide units. For example, starch. Dextrin, cellulose. So these are the examples of polysaccharides. So in this module I told about what are biomolecules. Biomolecules are the chemicals which are required, which are essential for the buildup of life forms and for the sustenance of life forms. Their presence is necessary for running life processes. Their presence is necessary for making a living form living. And as far as examples are concerned, carbohydrates, fats, vitamins, proteins, enzymes, hormones, these are some of the common examples of biomolecules. Then we came to the first example, carbohydrate, wherein I explained the definition of a carbohydrate. In initial days, carbohydrates were those compounds whose formula can be represented in terms of hydrate of a carbon, that is, whose formula can be represented in terms of CxH2O whole by. But in modern days, carbohydrates are defined as substances which are either optically active polyhydroxyaldehydes or ketones, or substances which gives a polyhydroxyaldehyde or ketone when subjected to hydrolysis. Then I told about classification of carbohydrates. Carbohydrates can be classified in two ways by choosing different parameters. On the basis of arrangement of constituent particles and properties, carbohydrates are classified as sugars and non-sugars, wherein sugars have got crystalline structure, sweet taste and water soluble, and non-sugars which has got a amorphous structure, which are tasteless and which are water insoluble. While on the basis of hydrolysis products, it can be classified as monosaccharides, oligosaccharides and polysaccharides. Monosaccharides cannot be hydrolyzed further. They are the simplest hydrocarbons. They themselves are polyhydroxyaldehydes or ketones. But oligosaccharides, when they are subjected to hydrolysis, they give few, means from 2 to 10 monosaccharide units. Then if it gives a 2 monosaccharide unit, it is called a disaccharide. If it gives a 3 monosaccharide unit, then it is called a trisaccharide, tetrasaccharide, etc. And polysaccharides are those carbohydrates which when subjected to hydrolysis, they gives few hundred to few thousand monosaccharide units. I am quite sure that with this discussion you was able to understand this topic, and in days to come will continue. Thank you.